I was going to say, kind of going back off of what you were saying earlier. So I have this person in mind to write the scene. They come in, kind of portrayed a little different than you thought. Does that change the way the character goes, maybe based on what they bring to it?
Sometimes I would say so, but again, I think that, when you get to know somebody so well, and see their style, I think that it's very rare that you really are, surprised by what they do. And of course, acting is, such an involved craft, and the actor has to go to such places and lengths to, portray this thing. And of course, yeah, someone's going to surprise you, but usually it's in a good way. Because again, like I know what these people are capable of. So when Jessica comes on, or April and Silhouette comes on, or Tom comes in, and they just knock it out of the park. No, I'm not really shocked because, I knew these guys were brilliant actors.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
Oh no!
You were knocked out.
I popped my headphones right before.
You were, Mama gonna knock you out.
Oh, technical difficulties right from the get-go.
It happens.
Man, oh man.
Wow.
Pulled my headphones out of my head. Hi.
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 How are you?
Apparently I've had too much of this whiskey already. I'm already green. So how are we doing tonight?
Good. How y'all doing?
We are doing fantastic. I love it. I already heard of y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all.
Come on now.
Let's get introductions taken care of before we get this conversation going. Joined tonight by Jessica Dawn Willis and Mitch McLeod. McLeod?
That's right. Good job.
Yes, nailed it. And Jessica is an actor, and Mitch is director, writer, actor. And well, I guess I shouldn't. Jessica
writer,
does some writing and directing as well, correct? At least some shorts early on.
Yeah, I've done some shorts.
Yeah, nice.
McLeod, like the old show.
Yeah, the old show, Highlander. We get a lot of references over here.
I watched it with my parents growing up.
Oh, nice.
Every Sunday there was a different. So yeah.
Was this like a cop show or something?
Yeah, he was on a horse in the city.
Oh, that makes sense.
McLeod.
I don't. Who was the actor?
Dennis Weaver.
Oh, all right. It's not one I remember. He's a lot older than me, so.
So you guys are drinking straight whiskey tonight?
I couldn't decide between a Scotch or a whiskey, so I went with a nice Irish whiskey.
Tell them or do. The choice.
That is my all-time favorite.
It is one of my go-tos, absolutely.
What are you guys drinking?
Pink old fashioned for some reason.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah. Somebody forgot.
What makes it pink?
Apparently too many cherries. I don't know.
You forget the orange.
Oh, yum.
I'm not the bartender, so
Completely forgot. I'm mixing it away. I'm like, why does it look done? Yeah, sorry.
So
all right.
I went by memory. It didn't work. But we have Jack in there tonight. So
yeah. Jack Daniels old fashioned sweet, correct? Sour.
Sweet.
I don't know.
Either way, whiskey. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
cheers to you
Cheers
guys.
to you.
You guys are you in Dallas?
Yeah.
How is Dallas, Texas these days?
How is Dallas, Texas these days? It's hot, it's cold. By the minute.
Yeah. I was
You never really know what it's going to be.
I was just in Nashville a few weeks ago, and it was kind of the same thing. We went from a 70-degree day down to a 37-degree day. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you both grew up in Texas?
Of course, over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Born
a
and
little
raised?
small town. Texas. Yes, sir. How about you guys?
Where was that? What small town?
Oh, no, it's just a small town called, well, it depends on who you ask, because I kind of rode the line of Nevada, Texas and Copeville, Texas. But Copeville, Texas, there's not much to it, but we are famous for raising Tex Watson,
The
who was
best thing.
Charles Manson's right-hand man. So that's what we're known for
Texas.
over in Cokeville, Texas.
Well, we're
Oh
we're
my
uh,
gosh.
we're
Yeah.
up in Wisconsin, so we got Ed Gein and Jeff Dahmer. So we
That's
Oh,
true.
okay. Well,
yeah,
There you go.
we've got our own.
Yeah. Finally got to hear my hometown mentioned by name in a Tarantino movie, but unfortunately, it was in reference to one of those cult murderers. So that was fun. That was interesting.
That was fun.
It was a great movie, great scene. So
It actually was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just asking what the first film you had made.
Oh, no, the first film I did was something, back in I guess it was 2012. It's called Novella, and we basically did that on a no budget thing, which is small of a budget as Silhouette was. It's definitely great in comparison to what we had for that one, and yeah, that was just a fun little experiment I had. I made it into a feature film. Most people start off doing shorts. I just kind of wanted to sink or swim, jump head first into the water, and yeah, it became this thing. People seem to enjoy it, and so I kept on doing it. But it was definitely kind of my little personal film school.
So I saw on IMDb the budget was listed as $500 for that. Is that is that correct?
$500, and it all went to food. Like,
No, actually,
It was
that
less
one,
than that.
I think the $500 one, was a short film I did called Birthday Girl.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Novella,
Yeah, Novella.
I tried looking for.
We had it hasn't been released. I had some offers for it, and again, since it was something that I kind of just was experimenting with and kind of learned the ropes with, I wasn't as pleased with it as I was some of the other things that I've done. So I didn't release it for the longest time, but eventually I just kind of felt like giving it another look, checking it out, and the actors did a great job. There's a lot of good things I think about it, so I decided to team up with a distributor and finally allow it to release. It hasn't released yet, and but as soon as I have a date, I'll be letting people know where they can see it.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I saw
Awesome.
you're talking to streaming it. I'm excited. I see there was an influence of Vincent Price in there.
Oh no, actually,
That was
yeah,
in the description.
Yeah, there's a character named Vincent Price, but that was just kind of me as a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, how I was when I set out to start making that film. That was just something that I wanted to flaunt, I guess, my cinephile nature in front of everyone, and so I'd been watching a lot of Vincent Price movies when I started writing that script, and so I just decided to name a character about him. But other than that, there's nothing really about Vincent Price.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it got my attention. I'm a huge Vincent Price fan, actually. And I thought, now I really want to see it, that he influenced it somehow, but that's fine.
yeah.
I bet I actually got the pleasure of meeting Vincent Price years ago when I was a child.
Oh,
Oh, fantastic.
So he's
I
cool.
remember the Scooby-Doo episode.
That's about it for me with Vincent Price too. Yeah. Wait, wasn't he in a Michael Jackson video or something too?
Yeah.
brother.
Oh yeah.
So good. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see it, but either way, because I love that those indie movies. So as a kid, you said you were into Vincent Price at that time, but when you're younger, what was an influence of yours for movie making or acting or anything?
I don't know. I personally, I guess I liked acting a lot when I was a kid, but I didn't really consider filmmaking until I was in my late teens. And that was mostly an inspiration from filmmakers like David Lynch and Darren Aronofsky specifically. Mulholland Drive and Requiem for a Dream really kind of lit a fire under me. Before that, I wrote things, but I don't know, really think I ever really intended to do anything with them. I think it was just some fun that I was having. But yeah, when I was a little kid, I watched Scream and Halloween, and that definitely got me interested in at least telling stories. However I plan on telling them, I don't really think I knew at the time. I think it was just kind of something that I did.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Jessica, do you have any early influences for acting?
Oh gosh. That's a hard one. I always loved, frick. I mean, right now I love Adam Driver. I mean, I love his rawness and his unpredictability.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be somebody more who I would strive to be like.
When did you
Yeah.
first say that you wanted to be an actor?
I don't know. It's just always something I wanted to do. I used to beg my parents to take me to auditions, and my mom would kind of brush me off. And I'm like, well, look at me now, Mom. Like, I'm
So-
doing it anyway. So.
When did you get your first part?
I didn't start until I guess I was in college.
Okay.
And my theater teacher actually told us, don't do this unless there's nothing else you can do that will make you happy. It was basically their advice. But I guess I stuck with it. So.
Okay. Did you do any acting classes during college or make any movies
Yeah.
during college that you had to do for class?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's anything that's out there right now. I mean, like I have some like horror films and things like that you can watch that are out there. I'm not sure if any of that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were interviewing someone and I started mentioning his stuff and she was like, how do you know that? That's college stuff. That nobody should see that, but I was able to find it. So
Like hopefully it's not
Oh,
out there.
God, yeah.
I'll tell you, sometimes if you dig-
floating around.
Sometimes if you dig hard enough, you can find some pretty good stuff out there. You never know. Once it's on the internet, it's there for life, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
So you wrote and directed this staring back short that was inspired by the Brock Turner case. And
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about that, I guess, because I mean, obviously the Brock Turner case was a huge thing and angered a lot of people.
Oh, it certainly did. Well, it's basically about a brother and sister that go and capture like a Brock Turner like figure that he played. And he actually spent like 2 days tied up to a chair being tortured. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the trivia that you threw up once. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
for sure.
did. I threw up, and the moment I did, I kind of looked at the guy who was running the camera. I'm like, please tell me that you caught that, because it's not going
Right.
to happen again, not organically anyway. And he just, yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that was a fun one. It was dark. That
Yeah,
was like
your
really,
chemistry was really good.
really
like,
crazy,
all you guys.
a couple of days making that one.
Mhm.
Of course, all I had to do was really sit in the chair. So
And get beat on, yeah.
yeah, get beat
Well,
on.
Sure. So what drove you to want to write about that and make that movie?
Well, there was a local competition, and I don't know, it just came to my head, like it was making me really angry at the time. So a lot of the times these people don't get punished in real life, but I'm like, you can go and do whatever you want in fantasy though. you know?
Right.
That's for sure. You could make it make the movie any way you want, like
Yeah, for
Tarantino
sure.
does. He twists history a little bit.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Creative license.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So when was the first time that you two worked together on a film then? Was it the staring back?
When was the first time? I feel like we had known about each other for a while, and we had like auditioned.
It was a film that you produced.
Yeah, we had
I know
auditioned
this
across
one,
each
yeah.
other. But I think the first time that we actually, stepped on set with each other was for a film called Notice Tollins, which was something that I was kind of helping a buddy of mine produce. He had written this awesome script, and this was kind of him, wetting his beak with directing for the first time. And so I knew of her you know, we were friends, we've been hanging out, and I knew that she was really talented. And there was another guy who I wanted to cast in it as well, who actually played Vincent Price in Novella. Yeah, I think that was the first time. That was the first, I think, because we had done that, and I think like 2 or 3 other shorts before we actually ever did Silhouette together.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess Silhouette was probably my first time directing
her.
Yeah.
Were you a romantic item by that point?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how was it? How was it taking direction from?
I mean, it was good. I mean, he wrote the character before we'd actually gotten together, sort of based on me. So it wasn't even, you know, it was just,
Yeah.
he wrote it for me. So it was
Nice.
Perfect.
So do you see, when you're writing these scripts, do you see the person form the character, or you form a character and anybody could play him?
I would say a little column A, a little column B. You know, when you work on such a low budget, it's different when you're, you know, out there in the world and you've really taken off and you have the big budgets
Sure.
that can allow you to hire, you know, basically, you know, whoever you want, as long as they'll say yes. But working on such low budget things, you know, like we have been doing, yeah, I mean, there's typically, I hate auditioning. I hate holding auditions. It's just something that I don't enjoy doing at all. And so, yeah, when I sat down and I, you know, first conceptualized the idea of Silhouette, I had kind of a very basic story in mind, but I didn't really know who the characters were going to be, except for the husband and wife character, obviously. But I didn't really know who else. I didn't know about the Dawn character that she played yet. And I wasn't even sure that I was going to have the child character in there. I thought I might let her be a thing in the past. But yeah, when it comes to writing on the lower budget scales, like the indies that we'll do around here, I definitely at least try to have somebody in mind for the role. It just makes things easier for me, because it's so much easier to know an actor and know that this actor has talent, and say, I want to write this role. I know that I want this person to do it. Because then I just, you know, I walk up to them and I just say, hey, I wrote this for you, and I think you'll nail it, and I know their ticks, and I know their styles, and I know it's going to make it work. And so, yeah, like typically I try to, you know, incorporate, you know, who I know personally into a script. And, you know, for instance, you know, again, before we were ever like really involved romantically or whatever, and we had just hung out a few times, I, you know, seen some stuff that she had been in, and I'd seen her capabilities as an actor. And yeah, the way that we actually really started kind of hanging out together was that, you know, I reached out to her and I, you know, told her that, you know, based on some stuff that I had seen, I'd written this role, or was writing this role, developing this role with her in mind. And then, yeah, it just kind of took off from there, as it often does.
I mean, first of all, that's kind of a slick move to,
It's
you know,
the
romantic.
perfect
yeah, little ulterior motive there.
I'm gonna take
No
notes.
ulterior motives. Right?
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, there you go.
I wrote a script for you.
I did notice, looking at the casts of a lot of the movies that you guys are both in, that there's a lot of carryover. Is there a good filmmaking scene down in the Dallas area where you, like, it's kind of the same group of people that are kind of working together on a lot of these things?
Want to take that?
Somewhat. Dallas is pretty cliquey when it comes to that stuff.
Ah.
But where we meet a lot of the actors, I was at T-Bell's Actor Studio for 5 years. And the great thing about that is you get to see things that people are capable of in class every week, where they may not normally get called in for that kind of role, but you get to see them like they can do it. And, you know, you also develop that bond with people. So the moment you're on set, like, you know each other, there's no weird, like,
Right.
oh yeah.
So you know who you can trust
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and just let
yeah.
them roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Once
like,
go ahead.
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, kind of going back off of what you were saying earlier. So I have this person in mind to write the scene. They come in, kind of portrayed a little different than you thought. Does that change the way the character goes, maybe based on what they bring to it?
Sometimes.
I would say so, but again, I think that when you get to know somebody so well, and see their style, I think that it's very rare that you really are surprised by what they do. And of course, acting is such an involved craft, and the actor has to go to such places and lengths to portray this thing. Of course, yeah, someone's going to surprise you, but usually it's in a good way, because again, like, I know what these people are capable of. So when Jessica comes on, or April and Silhouette comes on, or Tom comes in and they just knock it out of the park, no, I'm not really shocked, because I knew these guys were brilliant actors. Like the guy who played Vincent Price in Novella, he was one of the earliest people that I met, doing this, that I thought was just genuinely talented, and we became good friends for a long time. And so when I sat down and I wrote that first script back in the day, I don't want to take away from the actors being capable and doing great jobs, because they did, and they're all talented actors. But that said, like, I wrote this character specifically based on this particular guy's personality, and so when he came in and was doing things that I had known him for 2 years to just do, it was pretty much exactly what we all kind of came together and had in mind.
So do you like to stick to the script of what you wrote, or do you let your actors improvise?
That's again, little column A, little column
Okay.
B. I like to stick to the plan if I can. But I also know that when an actor is so good that they've just really dived into this role, and their portrayal of that role is so authentic, things can happen that you didn't necessarily plan on, that you didn't necessarily think was going to happen. There's a scene in Silhouette where the husband and wife character are having a conversation just on the couch, and it was just supposed to be this kind of basic conversation where she kind of lays things on the line for him, and he just broke into tears while we were doing it, and I wasn't really intending for that to happen. He had done it on a rehearsal. I thought it was just kind of a fluke. It wasn't something that I instructed. It wasn't something that I wrote. It wasn't something that I directed, but it just happened, and it enhanced it. It made it better. And so, yeah, I'm completely open to things that I didn't expect, as long as they service what it is that we're doing.
Okay, well, let's touch on Silhouette. That was watch that. I watched the movie. It was very good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So obviously you enjoy the horror genre, or the freaky genre, as I would say, because where do you get that inspiration or the storyline for that? And the opening scene was incredible. I gotta say, the opening and ending. I mean, that was really, really amazing.
Thanks. I don't know. It's just
He must have been in like a miserable marriage in his past life or something. I don't know.
yeah. No,
Right.
it's funny, because before I got married, obviously I'm married now, I was completely anti-marriage and the concept of marriage. Obviously, one falls in love and things change. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being married. But beforehand, just I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, my family members listen to this. Sorry, but like I was just I was a product of a single mother. My mother and father, they separated when I was pretty young, like 4 or 5 years old, and not just in my own family, but in other people's families and other people's lives, I had kind of noticed that two things happen. And God damn it, this is going to sound so needlessly bleak, and I don't want to come across this way. But it seemed that either people got divorced or they stayed together because they were convinced that it was the right thing to do, but they didn't seem happy about it, and I had never just really seen very many married couples, I would say, that had been married for an extended period of time and seemed just truly happy. And I thought about that a lot, and I think I do like the horror genre. It's never something I imagine myself really getting into as much. I'm more of a fan of the drama. I do think that adding a horror element lets you tell dramatic stories in more interesting ways. But I think that's just what I was kind of thinking about a lot with this thing, was just some things that I experienced, some things that I witnessed, and turning that into a drama. And then I guess the horror really just came later.
Okay, so that throw that in there for, then you can go any direction you want, actually.
Yeah,
you throw the little horror in there. So
horror isn't supposed to necessarily be rooted in reality, so it just gives you just so much to work with, rather than just a very basic, very by the numbers, very down to earth drama film. I feel like you get to experiment a lot more. If you kind of mix the genres. I don't know.
What?
Well, you did it very well. It was very mixed in very, very, very
she
well.
Helped. She made me come to a lot of realizations about that script and that film that I think I may have struggled with without her benefit, without her helping. So
Okay, well, that's good.
So do you guys do any writing together then?
It's what, like, one of us will write something and then like we bounce it off of each other to fine tune it. Yeah.
Okay.
Although one day maybe we'll sit down and just like tackle a script.
Like if we ever do a
together.
series or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, there you go. I in Silhouette, I really enjoyed the scene that's very audio driven. Just that creepy scene with the audio just kind of in your ears, and I was wondering where that comes from, because it kind of reminded me of like the opening for like American Horror Story, and how the audio just kind of drives the creepiness to it.
I guess I would have to know more specifically
Well,
which scene you're referencing.
Your audio in general was influenced a lot by like Lynch and the way that he uses audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to touch on Lynch because he seems to be a big influence on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What is, not to jump away from your movies, but so what is your favorite David Lynch movie?
Well,
I'm assuming
I'm wearing a Sailor and Lula shirt right now.
Oh,
nice. That's hard to say, I think that
that's not a fair question, actually, because
I think if I was to pick what I think is technically David Lynch's best film,
okay,
I would say Lost Highway, which, like, I'm pretty much alone on that hill. My favorite one, though, would probably be Mulholland Drive, simply because of it literally changed my life. It made me want to do this. It made me start looking at things in a different way, and it made me feel like my ideas could be accepted. So I'm always going to have an appreciation for that film.
Okay,
Sure.
My first, and I did notice that you'd had a poster of a race that had in, it was in Arc.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
I touched on every movie, but I did notice in the background, Eraserhead poster.
Where the hell did you see Arc?
It's
YouTube.
YouTube.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because I saw you in an interview with somebody else, and you mentioned that it was available on YouTube. That's how I found it on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I'd forgotten that you could still find that film on YouTube.
Yeah.
It used to be available on Amazon, but I'm not going to get into all that drama.
Oh, sure.
Producer told me some licensing had, been approved. It hadn't been approved, and so now
Wow.
that film
Learned
no
a
longer,
lesson about
that
contracts.
film no longer exists on Amazon anymore. But yeah, I guess you can still find it on YouTube. That's right.
Yeah.
You learn that quickly, don't you? The
Yep.
the
Yeah.
legal and the contracts. You just want to make movies, right? And then all this legal crap's got to be thrown in.
It's not my forte, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
All fun and games till the lawyers get involved.
So as far as we keep jumping, and that's kind of what we unfortunately do, because we talk and spark something. But I remember Arc, and which of course is back. It's not any of the horror in it. It is more of a drama story. And I see you wrote it with a friend, or he had the story. Was any of that autobiographical of you or Josh, or?
I think probably a little bit for both of us. I had read this. I had directed that same person in Novella at one point, and we kind of had a falling out, and then we made amends. And as we were making amends, he kind of presented me this story, the script, and I read it, and thematically, I really enjoyed it. I liked where it could go, but I didn't like the way that it existed in the form that it was being presented. A lot of it was left up to improv, and I think if he'd had it his way, the whole thing would have been improv. And it just seemed a lot like the script was just about a guy going around and having a lot of sex.
Sure.
And I saw a story.
There's definitely an audience for that.
Yeah.
That's true.
There is. Yeah.
And I saw a story there that I really enjoyed, and I said I would agree to come on and direct it if I could rewrite the script.
Okay.
So I mean, there was a collaboration. I don't want to say there wasn't, but it just came down to being this thing where I allowed some improv to happen on set, any of the games or any of the scenes that had the poker scenes going on in them. That was mostly improv with an emphasis on, we have to kind of get this in here. There's some bar scenes where the friends are hanging out, and okay, yeah, we can allow it to improv, but I wanted something because for this particular story, I mean, you just had to have some level of structure, and that's what was missing, I thought, from the original bit. And once we got into it, it wasn't really my style, because like you said, it was more just on the nose dramatic piece, but again, I think that being an artist means that you experiment, and you do things by trial and error, and that really did help me really just kind of focus in on my ability at directing drama, at really working with actors, because for a piece like that, evoking those performances, you have to really learn, obviously, how to work with actors. So that was a great another just experimental bit for me, that and we made that film for $2,000. So again,
Wow.
no money was involved on that.
When you're doing a film for that budget, do any of the actors actually get paid? I mean, how do you?
No.
No. Yeah.
It's hard to that's why it's hard to put a price on it and say it was made for $2,000, because if you factor in favors that were pulled in, I mean, the movie technically cost more, but we had $2,000 to spend on it, and we basically got away with it because we had predominantly theater actors who are looking for an opportunity to do more camera work.
Sure.
Work in front of the camera. So,
and some of them have gone on to do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. We've got a couple of them who have really gone on and found a lot of decent success. And
That's awesome.
So one of the actresses was a very big voice actress. I went on has tons of voice actors things, so gave her a chance to be in front of the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
She loved it. She was great. Chris
Okay.
Cappino, who led my first film Novella and who
Oh.
the husband in Arc. He's actually gone on to be a strong recurring character in like an NBC medical drama,
Oh, okay.
New Amsterdam, and I'm sure I can't talk about it just yet, so we'll keep it an enigma. But there's something else that he's going to have,
Nice.
coming relatively soon, that I think is going to be a really big thing, for him. So yeah, it's really cool. Really, really happy to see where a lot of these guys have gone.
Awesome.
Great. So I say we go back to Silhouette because it still left a lasting image on me when I was watching it. So Jessica, on that, what did you feel? He wrote that part for you? Am I right?
Yeah.
Just to get you in the movie.
Maybe I'm not. I have to talk to him about that.
No, it wasn't just to get her in the movie.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, just teasing.
Yeah, we have an upcoming project. I'm not gonna say much. I'll let you, because
No, very little,
but
Okay.
I'm really excited about my role in that. I've been preparing for it. It's actually, I'm going to be playing a witch character. I can say that, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's another kind of horror drama as well. Very intense.
Which
Yeah.
do you prefer acting in? Horror, dramas, comedies?
I love doing comedy, but like a well-written comedy, and that's just so hard to find. It's one of the hardest genres to write correctly.
I would imagine.
So I mean, like drama and horror are also really fun. Like,
So I did want to ask you about your short. I couldn't find it, Willow, but I really want to watch that. I want to see it.
Oh yeah.
So is that a comedy or not? I'm just.
It's sort of a dark comedy.
Okay.
It's definitely about a girl discovering herself, I guess. Like this. I don't know. What did she put on the description?
Discovering herself in a bunny costume, or is it?
Yeah. That's, it's a very unique project for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw on your reels on on your link
couldn't
tree.
find
I saw just it must have been scenes from that. Just
Oh
based,
yeah.
there was a little bit in there. So
I love that, because it was a period piece that they actually shot on film. So I got to wear the 60s
Right.
costumes and makeup, and they shot it on film. So we had to rehearse, and then we only had 1 or 2 takes to nail it. It's
Sure.
not like shooting digital where you can like take 30 sort of thing, like it was an interesting experience. Yeah.
Do you know where I could see it? Because
I don't right now.
okay, I looked.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It just looked so interesting, and it did promote on 16 millimeters, so I think that's cool. So I
Yeah,
wanted to
she
look for
won
that.
the award at the Louisiana Film Prize that year for the Shooting on Film Award. So
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
it looks great. So,
See if I can find it.
oh, okay, because I looked and I would love to watch it. But the short films I see it, in quite a bit. Do you have I hate to use that word favorite, but I mean one that just really you're passionate about? I mean, I know there's, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm assuming there's some roles you take just to act, but there's others that you maybe take less money because you're passionate about. What is there one of them that you're super passionate about?
As far as that goes, actually, I think Willow was maybe one of my favorite projects that I've gotten to work on, just because I love the character. It was really well written, and it was fun shooting on film, and it was unique, and yeah.
Nice.
Okay,
I assume you watched Trunkfish as well.
I did.
And as long as we're
Oh God, you guys watched that? Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh no.
What do you mean? It was
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't do that. No, because it's bad. It's just like, oh my God, just some of the stuff we did in that movie. It's like,
What? Yeah, I mean, I watched it with my lady friend, and there was some scenes in there. She was going, oh, that poor woman. It just looks so bored.
oh my God.
But it's a fantastic movie, and I love the way that the main character just unravels throughout the course of the movie.
Yes.
And
He does a good job.
Yeah, Carl is fantastic. Yeah.
And what was it like having to shoot a scene, a sexual scene with somebody who is supposed to be a high schooler? Is that awkward?
Yeah, it was. I mean, the guy was not a high schooler.
Right.
Of course, right.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, yeah, that was definitely probably the least fun thing to film.
I know everyone's talking about
It's a
this.
different turn, yeah.
Everyone's talking about this show Euphoria right now that's supposed to be based around all these high school kids having sex and how uncomfortable it is to watch it. And obviously they're not high school kids, but it's still just this weird
Yeah, I don't
thing.
It's still weird. Yeah. Like, you're not supposed to be looking.
drama, but that took a turn. The movie kind of reminded me of American Beauty a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
When it was,
Yeah, there were definitely some of those influences. Yeah.
which was fun to watch. Yeah, that unraveling and the ending. The ending just kind of stops. Is he gonna get caught or not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just acting it. I'm not. I don't know what we're doing.
It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. That's for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
But you seem like you have quite a few movies coming up.
Yeah. We have a Western in development.
Oh, wow.
Yankee Rose, the horror in development, and then
So a Western with the horror?
no, a Western and a
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
You've got Thursday the 12th and Surviving the Cartel as well.
Oh yeah.
Thursday the 12th, we're going to ask about, because there's your comedy, right?
Yeah, that was fun to work on as well. And there was a lady from Clerks in it too, so it was fun getting to meet her.
I was gonna say, being a big fan of the Friday the 13th series, I'm very excited for Thursday the 12th. That looks like a fun little horror movie, and that's kind of stuff I enjoy. So, and I also
super raunchy.
Oh yeah, okay, perfect. Just like a Friday the 13th.
That's what we want. Absolutely.
Yeah. I also saw the trailer for the movie The God Man, and that looks pretty intense as well.
Yeah. God. I'm so spacey half the time. You guys were like, "Oh yeah, I did do
Hey,
that."
you're doing this. I am.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was a lot of actors I knew I got to work with on that. Really talented people. So yeah.
Yeah, the trailer looks really good. Looks like a good movie.
So we'll continue to follow and look for his stuff. So what Silhouette? I want a quick touch on that because it was rebranded, renamed for the video release. Is that something that
Yeah.
is that normal?
It's pretty common. It's not an uncommon thing to see an indie film be rebranded. There was actually, I don't know why I always come back to this movie because no one ever saw it. It starred Luke Wilson and Norman Reedus, but it was called Preston Tilk, and it was a very dark thriller. And I don't know, like I watched it, God, probably like well over a decade ago now, but I really loved it. But that was my first introduction into the way that this sometimes happens, because it was originally called something, I don't know, stupid, like Bad Seed or whatever, but it became Silk, which was the name of the Luke Wilson character. But yeah, it's not uncommon at all for it to happen. And whenever I get into this, I always have to, first and foremost defend the producers at the distribution company ITN, Stuart Allison and Nicole Holland, because I don't want to, when I come across in my rants that I'll undoubtedly go on, since you brought this topic up, it's easy for a quote unquote artist to get caught up in their work and caught up in their vision, and damn anybody who tries to interfere with that. And they told me that this movie was being considered to be renamed A Haunting in Texas for its physical release, its DVD release. And I just yeah, it was really sad for me. Because you know what winds up happening, because they do this a lot, this particular distribution company. I mean, you know, they try to coast off of things that have been successful. So, you know, whereas, you know, you have the Conjuring movies, you know, you might have an
Right.
idea that's like the Conjuring of blah blah blah. And I know that, you know, they were originally trying to bounce the release of Silhouette off of the third Conjuring movie, and then of course that wound up getting delayed because of COVID. So they just didn't wind up doing that. But yeah, they told me that, but they asked me a lot of questions, and they were very much aware that Silhouette had, you know, become something that was, you know, relatively recognizable in its name. You know, we had done several festivals and won several awards with the name Silhouette. We had gotten, you know, 40 plus positive critics reviews on the film, all of them, of course, referring to it as a Silhouette. A lot of attention on the film
Right.
that people knew as Silhouette. So Nicole and Stu at ITN, you know, they were very, very supportive of trying to, you know, keep it referred to as Silhouette. But ultimately, the retailers just came to believe that, I guess, saying this in the politest way possible, your average Walmart, you know,
my
shopper browsing movies wouldn't be as drawn to a title like Silhouette as opposed to A Haunting in Texas, which is fine, and I agree. You know,
With that explanation, I guess you can
absolutely,
agree,
yeah, yeah.
but
The downside of it, the thing that I actually found to be the most, you know, the devastating and you know, the thing to worry about is that, you know, today's horror fans are just finicky, you know, and you know, a lot of them like to complain about things. You know,
They're very
it's like
passionate.
we
they're
don't
very passionate
yeah,
audience.
they're very passionate.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got the horror fans who like watch something like Hereditary or Midsummer or The Witch, which I think are brilliant. And they're like, oh, this is just so slow. This is blah, blah, blah. And they hate on it for being a slow burn. But then, you know, more recently, you have something like Halloween Kills, or the new, or even like the topic of the week, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And they're like, oh yeah, well, the storytelling, the script wasn't that good. We don't like this movie, but the gore was great. And just so it just seems like it's almost impossible to please.
you can't
But,
please everybody.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't, no.
But what I was
No,
really
no, no.
concerned with is that, you know, with the film called A Haunting in Texas, you know, being rebranded as A Haunting in Texas, and with the poster that was redesigned as, my concern, and I think it's actually kind of proven to be relatively true, was that this film was going to find its way in front of an audience member who isn't really interested in movies like The Witch or Hereditary or Midsummer, and is more interested in just, you know, something basic and something straightforward and supernatural and maybe gory, whatever. And that's just not what this movie is. And so, you know, my big fear was that people are going to pick out this movie expecting one thing, and then they're going to wind up accidentally, you know, watching a slow burn drama,
Right.
that's just lightly infused with horror, and then, like, you know, wind up being disappointed.
And
but
I
mean,
I think I agree with you, you know, everything you're saying. With the
yeah,
name and
and you
that.
know, it's hard to say what actually happened. It seems, you know, people tend to enjoy it, so that's been cool. Either the people who enjoy it, they really enjoy it, and the people who don't enjoy it, they really don't enjoy it. But I think that can be said
Very
for
divisive, yeah.
I think that can be said
Yeah.
for, you know, just about, you know, any movie, you know, these
Sure.
days. Everyone always wants to
Yeah, it's either
call something the
either
best
one
movie
or
ever made or
10.
the
Like
worst
there's
movie
nothing
ever
in between
made.
anymore.
There's never just like there's never an in between, you know. And it's either the best movie of all time or the worst
Yeah.
movie of all time, and there's just no room for conversation elsewhere.
Sure.
Like sometimes things are just okay, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Like there's like
It
that's
is.
caption. Like,
Yeah, and I was going to say sometimes when it's really popular with like the mainstream, that's what it is. It's just an okay movie. That's
yeah,
That got popular.
yeah, it's fine. It's just nothing that moves the meter. So
Well, it just
Yeah,
seemed like, to your point, the name draws to that crowd for wanting a quick scare, but Silhouette, I think it fits. I really do with the, what they're seeing in the closet and that it just kind of fits better. So
I liked it,
Yeah.
but I'm, honestly, I'm thankful because,
Right.
I'm thankful that it got to have some sort of release, with the title that it was originally given. Because, honestly, I mean, I'm very happy that we got the film to release in stores at retailers and to be on DVD, because I'm a collector, of hard copies myself. And I know that there's other collectors in the world who want to have a physical copy. But at the end of the day, in 2022, streaming is, hands down the most popular way
Right.
to view a film or a series. And so the fact that people can find it as Silhouette when it comes to the most popular method of watching a film, I'm pretty grateful for that.
Sure.
yeah.
And I'm with you. I'm a physical guy too.
Yeah, we're staring behind, right behind us is a 3,000 DVDs or however many.
Oh,
got on
wow.
the shelf. So he's
Sounds beautiful.
awesome.
I'm a little
obsessive.
Yeah, I'm a little obsessive. So, but now I know if I see Texas or Haunting in Texas, what it is. So,
Yeah.
So is it available as a hard copy with Silhouette as the title?
no.
Or is it?
No. The hard copies are only a Haunting in Texas.
Okay.
Actually, looks like this.
There we go.
Yeah. So,
All
but
right.
pretty cool. I like it. But,
Right.
They did make a cool cover.
Yeah, I definitely had to get over that artistic ego that my baby was being rebranded.
Yeah, I mean it's a fine line. Like, is the goal to get it in front of as many eyes as you can, or is it like I don't know. As a filmmaker, where does that line come in?
Huh.
That's a good question, because and it's something I wrestle with and she wrestles with and we talk
Well,
about regularly.
There have been so many movies, like our favorite example of this probably is Funny People, because I didn't like that movie when I first watched it in theaters, but he made me go rewatch it a couple years ago, and it's actually a good movie, but it was marketed so wrong.
It was marketed as a
that
straightforward
you
John
go in
Apatow
and watch
comedy.
it and you're like, what is this? But it actually is a good movie if you just watch it without that. So.
Sure.
Right. And sometimes the trailers do these things disservice because, like you said, you go into the movie with you're in the wrong mood for the movie, and it doesn't hit you right. And then you're like, well, it's terrible. But if you knew what you were going to see, you would think of it differently. So
Yeah.
Well, the film Another Hill That I'll Die On a regular basis. There was a film that came out a few years ago with Joel Edgerton and Christopher Abbott, and it was called It Comes at Night. And I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to watch it or not, but pardon. To me, it was, if not my favorite, then definitely my second favorite film that was released in 2017. And it's such a brilliant film. But it was marketed as a straightforward horror film.
okay.
Where this big terrifying thing or entity was kind of hinted at, coming in and showing itself. And it's not that at all. It's really just a drama centered around post-apocalyptic paranoia, with some really heavy hitting scenes, but they are mostly dramatic. And I talked to a lot of people who just hate that film so much. And every time I hear them say something about it, they don't just hate it off of the fact they thought it was a bad film. It always gets mentioned that the marketing presented it as this horror film when it's not that thing. And most people who I've convinced and talked to about it and gotten them to go and give it, a second chance, knowing what it's actually going to be, they usually wind up, enjoying it and appreciating it more the second time. But when you promise horror and then you have a bunch of, die-hard committed horror fans going to watch this, and then you give them a drama, of course they're going to hate it because it's just not what they're in the mood for that night.
Absolutely.
I feel like I remember that movie. Not that I saw it, but it coming out. Now that you say that, the more you talk about it, so I wrote it down. I'm going to check it out.
Of course you are. You'll own it. You'll own it by tomorrow.
Kylo Riley, isn't that her name? Kylo Riley.
Riley Keough.
Riley Keough. I
Yeah.
was totally wrong on her name.
Elvis's granddaughter is in it.
I wasn't even a little right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So do you feel, and I see that you produce a lot of movies beyond directing and writing them. So is that when you're producing a movie, do you feel like, I would have directed that differently, or do you jump in, or do you know your, is it hard for you to step back and just give suggestions?
No.
Okay.
And yeah. Typically, calling me a producer is somewhat misleading, basically from what I've done, because like most of the time it's just coming in and like, taking friends of mine who have shown talent in other places that have worked with me and collaborated with me, and just kind of helping them put something together. And they are talented, and there's times where I have my input, but usually I let them step back. I'm only just now entering into the phase where I'm just looking for people that I find have the talent to do something, and producing for them. So for instance, I have a kid right now. I won't say much about it. It's very early in the developmental process. But he actually, when he was 21, he wrote and directed this beautiful film that I had a small role in. She had a small role in it. And it just came out so well, and it's so beautiful. And so I trust him, and I'm in the very early developmental stage of helping him get his next film, his second film, produced, and I trust him. So
Okay.
I give him notes on the script, and he tells me what he thinks, and I tell him what I think. And once that script is locked and we know what it's going to be, I'm really just going to kind of sit back and let him do what he wants to do, because I know how personally aggravated I would be if I had someone breathing down my back telling me how to make a film, because I have had that. So
Sure.
if I'm going to produce for someone, I trust them. So step back and let them do their thing. And between her and the other people that we're talking about, I know that he has the talent that goes in front of the camera, to really carry something.
I haven't read this script yet, but he just told me that I have to watch Black Swan a lot to prepare for it. So I'm pretty excited about it. It sounds like really intense.
Yeah.
It's a good watch.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's for sure. Can you mention is the movie you both were in that he directed?
Yeah, it was called Dancing with Myself. And
Perfect. I do that all the time.
I think you can find it on YouTube. But yeah, it's just honestly, there's three actors, like actors in it. Me being one of them, Jessica being another one, and then Kim Foster, who actually played the ghostly woman in Silhouette, is in it.
Okay.
And other than that, the people who are in it really aren't actors. They're just people that this guy knew, that he got to come and be in this film. And with all that considered, they just do such an excellent job, particularly the lead, Andrew Nev, just ridiculously good. And these aren't trained actors; they're just people with an artistic spirit. And I think that having that artistic spirit is just really what matters the most.
Absolutely.
We'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I love.
You're right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a movie buff, so
Got a lot of them to watch now.
absolutely is. So you can't Is that what you're working on right now? The one you can't talk about, or is there obviously you probably have many things going
I've
on?
got my hands involved in a lot of things right now that I can't talk about too much. Hopefully the one that I've actually written and directed, or written and will be directing, Yankee Rose. Hopefully that's one that I can talk about in greater detail very soon. We've made a lot of headway. We've talked to some really good actors about it, and it's going to be the first experience of mine to do something and have like a real budget involved. And it'll be my first time casting named actors that people will just recognize off the bat, while also majority filling it with local talents, her being one of them. There's a lot of other just amazing actors.
April from
around here.
Silhouette.
April from Silhouette. who's
Okay,
played
cool.
again.
Again, you know what they can bring, so why not use them?
Yeah. So hopefully, shortly down the road, we'll have some more information on that. We have a really, really great team of people who have done some really, really cool stuff that I'm really excited about working with.
Awesome. And Jessica, how about you? What are you got? Are you working on anything currently that you can, other than the ones that we talked about that are coming up? Is there anything that you can?
Seem like a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. I don't know. I'm trying to only do things that I'm passionate about. So I have some projects I may or may not go on to.
Sure.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know Trunkfish you can watch on Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it. So that's still out there.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is fun. It is.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a great movie. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I have trouble watching myself, so I'm like
I'm
watching
sure.
it like this. Like, I don't even know like what it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend it. And
And where is Silhouette available again?
You can see Silhouette on Amazon
Okay.
and
Yes.
Tubi.
It is on Tubi as well.
And I think it's on Roku as well. I don't have Roku, so I don't really know, but that's
might be on Shudder.
Yeah, I can't remember where I watched it from.
that'd be a surprise to me. But hey, I don't
Okay.
actually own that film anymore. I sold the rights, so yeah, I honestly don't know what they've done with it. I'm gonna look on Shudder now though and see if I
Take
can
a
find
peek. I'm trying to think if that's where I watched it, but
You want a physical copy? I know that it was available in Walmart's as a Haunting in Texas for a
Mhm.
while, but I think it was selling out a lot. So I know that you can definitely get a hard copy as a Haunting in Texas on DVD at Amazon if you go through Amazon.
okay.
Other than that, yeah, I think there's some bootleg copies on YouTube, but don't do that.
Don't do that unless you have
Not
to.
like
You
I
just
think
told people where to go.
I mean, if you're cool, you won't.
I only did Arc. I didn't know where else to find it,
Well,
but I wanted to see Arc.
That's the only place you can find it now, so that's forgivable.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
All right,
Okay,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So if I find myself a hard copy, because I am a sucker for those, of The Haunting in Texas, will you sign it for me? I send it to you and send it back?
Yes.
Actually, I mean, really, you can just message me your address, and I have a few signed copies
Oh, yeah,
left over here.
Yeah, we
There we
have
go.
the whole cast and crew sign them. So yeah.
There we go. See, we started to add to our table. We just recently interviewed the woman who did the voice of Royal B in the LOL movie,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
cool. Yeah.
which my daughter was thrilled about. So we made sure to add her to the table. So
We're building up.
yeah.
Just let me know where to send it.
Awesome.
Awesome. And we'd like to send you some shirts.
Yeah, that is
So
well. So we'll get
that'll work as well.
I guess we'll exchange information when this is all said and done.
cool.
Perfect.
You guys have anything else you want to promote before we?
Your Instagram.
Yeah.
I know we've
Let 'em
been
know
following
where-
those. It's been
yeah.
fun to watch.
I mean, Mitch McLeod, Jessica Willis. You can find us both on Instagram, Absentia Pictures on Facebook. That's the production company. And yeah, I mean, I definitely encourage anyone to follow any of us on any of those platforms, because we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up that I that I wish I could have gone into further detail on.
Sure.
Well,
But a lot of cool stuff coming up that I'm really, really excited about. That I can't wait to unleash on the world. So
Seems like you're taking the next step, which is pretty cool. But
yeah, I'd say so. So yeah, if you want to follow us there, please do. We have a lot going on, a lot coming up, and it's really exciting. What else can I say?
awesome.
it is.
Well, we love talking to you. So if you ever want to come back when this stuff gets going, you want to promote a little bit, we'd be thrilled to have you back.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. We'll put your link below in the
yeah, you bet.
thing, so they'll be there for everybody.
Awesome.
Keep making movies. We apprieate it.
Cheers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Take
much,
time. All right, guys. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Have a great
Cheers.
night. Thanks again.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.